Story for this past week, and a story, guys, that is not going away anytime soon. The civil lawsuits now facing Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. The next step will come tomorrow, reportedly now, when attorney Tony Busby, who represents the 7 women that have filed lawsuits against Watson, they will submit evidence to the Houston Police Department and the district attorney. Details were changing, as we all know, multiple times a day throughout last week. Busby describes most of the victims as single mothers. KPRC2 News reporting that all allege the same or similar conduct. Also, KPRC2 has reported currently 6 of the cases are civil assault, while 1 is for civil sexual assault.
I think this is something that we may not get a whole lot of clarity on for a while. The legal process regularly takes a long time to play out. I do not see a lot of concrete answers coming anytime soon.
Yeah, KPRC2 legal analyst Brian Weiss spoke with Randy about what we know so far and the next steps.
All right, Brian, good to see you, man. What a busy week it has been on the Deshaun Watson front on the legal side. You've been following this as well. What are your initial thoughts, let's say, over the last week or so since all of this developed?
Well, Randy, 2 takeaways from Tony Busby's press conference on Friday. Number 1, the sheer number of allegations that Busby has leveled against Deshaun Watson, which caused us really to go OMG. Number 2, the fact that Tony Busby has alerted HPD and will be sending them a packet of information that he hopes will jumpstart the criminal investigation, which could open up a potentially dangerous chapter for Deshaun in this ongoing saga. But let me make one thing clear, Randy. Tony Busby is one of the best lawyers in the free world, and he did a great job at the press conference on Friday. But no client has ever won a civil judgment or not guilty of trial because their lawyer had a great press conference any more than they hand out Super Bowl rings during training camp in July.
When you look at this process from the criminal to the civil arena, what's the process looking like right now to you?
Randy, let's start with the criminal process. Now that HPD's been involved, I anticipate their investigation into the criminal side of this narrative will be full and fair, without passion or prejudice. They are going to talk to everybody and anybody on both sides to see what he or she has to say. On the civil side, it's almost a little more complicated. First of all, Rusty Hardin, Deshaun's lead lawyer, will file a reply, which is a fancy legal term for saying on a piece of paper, we deny it, you prove it, let's tee it up. And that will be followed by the discovery process, where both sides learn more about each other's cases. You know, Randy, they say the Masters doesn't start until the back 9 on Sunday. I don't think the civil litigation begins until Rusty Hardin has a chance to depose these plaintiffs under oath.
What can we expect on his initial steps?
Well, and again, another spoiler alert. I've known Rusty since the summer of '42, and he is the gold standard. I think the analogy that we like to think of is that if Tony Busby is Patrick Mahomes and Rusty's certainly Tom Brady, I think what we're going to see is basically twofold, Randy. Number 1, the fact that COVID precluded Deshaun from contacting his regular masseuse, which is why he reached out on the recommendation of several Texans coaches to find masseuses on Instagram. And I think, secondly, Rusty, again, is going to test the credibility of each of these plaintiffs. Look, women have a right to be believed, but defendants have a right to due process of law.
All right, KPRC2 legal analyst Brian Weiss. Great insight, Brian. We'll be in touch, man, as this thing develops.
Outside of these allegations, Deshaun Watson's trade request is still a thing this week. Teams like the 49ers, Panthers, Broncos, Jets, Dolphins all brought up as possible landing spots. The Texans traded for a quarterback, signed another quarterback. Most people now believe that Houston will at some point this offseason trade number 4.
I don't think that his trade value is going to be impacted by this. It could be, unless there's total and concrete proof that any of these things happen. And I think history tells us that Ben Roethlisberger is still a quarterback the last time I checked. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But like you said, Ari, so many teams still interested in him.
Well, one thing that Brian Weiss added, and he's been involved, he was leading in the defense side of the Adrian Peterson case. So he's been involved with some of these cases involving athletes and teams. he says look out because the Texans now, depending on how this plays out, are going to have some power as far as a potential decision they may want to take, too, once more evidence comes in on this case.
Yeah, it's another wait-and-see situation. The Texans, for one, but then all those teams that I mentioned, 49ers, Panthers, Broncos, Dolphins, Jets, instead of spending this time building a trade package, they now have to pay very close attention to what is going on here in Houston, if maybe there's a criminal side element or to these civil cases.
All right, we will keep you updated as more details come in throughout the week, starting tomorrow, it looks like, from Tony Buzz.